Okay, hello everybody. This is Cristina from Speak English with Cristina. I'm still experimenting with the YouTube live lessons, so I do apologize for any technical difficulties or any problems. Like I said, this week I'm really trying to experiment to try something new. And of course, just like when you learn a language, you make mistakes. Things don't always happen as you want them to, and that's just part of the learning process. So I do hope that you will excuse the difficulties, the delays, the technical problems, etc. Manuel, hello. Hello from Spain. Hello from France. I'm in France. It's quite cold today in France. And I'm glad to see you too. It's good to see you. How is the weather in Spain today? Is it cold or is it warm? Is it hot, perhaps, if you're lucky? Because today in France it's very cold, and that's why today's subject for the live lesson, it's all about idioms that use snow, ice, cold, but that are idioms that we use very often in everyday conversations and in the business world also especially. So it's a little cold, right? Oh, hello, Molly. Hello from Taiwan. It's so good to see you here as well. Great. So just as a little introduction, as you know, perhaps, my name is Cristina, and I am the creator of Speak English with Cristina. So it's the place where you can learn fun, fluent, and easy American English. And my objective is to help you to become more fluent in English, to have fun learning English. Oh, hello, Akram. How are you? Good to see you again. I'm good. Thank you. Um, and as I was saying, the objective is to have fun learning English, to learn specifically American English because I'm from the US. I live in France and I've been teaching in France for 13 years now. But to help you to have fun learning English, whether you're from Spain or Taiwan or Iraq or any other country. The Speak English community is a place to come together and to enjoy learning English, learning about other cultures, and just, communicating with people from all over the world. Now, before we start today, I want to just tell you a little note about my book, which has just come out. It's especially for people who speak French. So I don't know if any of you can speak or understand a little French, but the book, it's called What the Foot, un livre in English pour éviter 32 erreurs fréquentes en anglais. And I'll put the link to the book in the notes below the video if you're interested. And even if you're not, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel. So just go ahead and subscribe so that way you're sure to get the notifications when we have live events. You can be sure to join. I just so happened, it means like by chance. If I say, oh, I just so happened to see an interesting article about idioms, it means like by chance, I just found an interesting article. So that's a very good question, Manuel. Very good question. And of course, I'm keeping an eye on the chat. I'm watching the chat. So if you have any questions, be sure to just type your questions. Akram, you deserve a lot of subscribers. Well, thank you so much, Akram. I hope that I'm going to get a lot of subscribers because that way I can help so many more people through my English lessons. All right, let's get started because I realized yesterday's live lesson was like 30 minutes. That's quite long. So I want to try to keep it shorter today so that you can watch the lesson, and then you can also maybe go and have lunch or have dinner or whatever you're doing at this moment. So we're going to look at 4 different idioms that use the theme, the topic of ice, snow, cold, because it's the good weather for these idioms, I think. And the first one, if you're following me on Instagram, and that's Speak English with Cristina on Instagram, you saw last week I asked if you knew the difference between these 2 expressions, snowed in versus snowed under. It's like phrasal verbs, you know, those words where you have a verb and then you have a preposition, and it totally changes the meaning, and these are so difficult in English. And these were 2 that are very frequent, snowed in versus snowed under. And I have a question for you. Do you know which one, snowed in or snowed under, which one means I have too much work? Where you might say, oh my goodness, I have so much work this week, I'm just totally snowed. What would you say? Snowed in or snowed under? Any ideas? You would say, I'm totally snowed under. Sorry, Akram, wrong one. You had a 50-50 chance. You're totally snowed under if you have too much work. Snowed in is a more literal expression. It means there's too much snow outside and it's impossible to leave the house. You can't go out because you're snowed in. You're snowed in your house, for example. But at the office, you might be snowed under because you have 3 projects to finish, a presentation to practice, a report to write, 5 meetings. You're totally snowed under with work at the moment. So that's the first one. All right, the second expression that we'll look at today, it's the tip of the iceberg. And I'll put this in the chat as well. The tip of the iceberg. And if you don't know what an iceberg is, you know the story of the Titanic, the ship, and the ship came and it hit an iceberg. It's a big piece of ice in the ocean. And when we talk about the tip of the iceberg, we might say something like, I have some information about this project, but I think I only know the tip of the iceberg. And the tip of the iceberg, it means you only know a very small part. Yeah, it's like a mountain made of ice. Exactly, Akram. An iceberg is like a mountain made of ice. And with the iceberg, when it's floating in the water, you only see a very small part. So if your iceberg is like this, you only see this much of the iceberg. And so you only see the tip of the iceberg. You don't see everything. So when we say it's just the tip of the iceberg, it means it's only a little tiny part of something, and there's something much bigger, much more information, for example, that we don't have. So that's the tip of the iceberg. Another one, another expression, and I'll put this in the chat. You're walking on thin ice. Now, this one is if you imagine someone who is walking literally on a lake that is frozen. Of course, if they want to be safe, they have to walk on the lake with thick ice. So where there's a lot of ice, it's very solid. If the ice is thin like this, there's a danger that the person will fall into the lake. And so this expression, when you say you're walking on thin ice, it means you're not doing something very good. You're in danger. You have a risk. For example, you might use it with a colleague who has done a lot of mistakes or has created a lot of problems in the company. And as a warning, you might want to say to him, "Hey, Jack, you're walking on thin ice." It means you really need to be careful because you're in a risky situation. It's a little dangerous for you. You're walking on thin ice. Be careful. So that's another expression. And another expression today is to put something on ice. For example, we can put a project on ice, especially in a business context. And do any of you know this expression? You can put it in the chat. You can just say yes or no if you understand this expression, to put something on ice. I'll let you take a few minutes and put that in the chat. We'll see what you say before I tell you. No, no, okay, no. So it's a totally new expression. To put something on ice means, okay, good, Manuel. It means to delay something. That's very good. It means that we're not going to do it right now. We're going to wait. We're going to put a delay on it, as Manuel said. And we're just going to wait before we continue with the project. It's a little like, in your kitchen, you want to save something for later. You put it in the freezer. You put it on ice because you're saving it for a later time. So maybe we're having some problems with this project. We're just going to put it on ice for the moment. So that is another good expression. And just one more, because it's a little bonus expression, and I really like this expression. I think it's funny. It'll be a cold day in hell before whatever. And this is an idiomatic expression, basically to say never. If I say, if I asked a friend of mine, I said, "Oh, would you like to go and live, I don't know, would you like to go and live in the desert for a month to try to challenge yourself and survive?" And my friend might say, it'll be a cold day in hell before I spend a month in the desert. It means no, I will never do that. So if someone asks you if you want to do something and you want to, let's say, really insist that you will never do that thing, you could say, "No, it will be a cold day in hell before I do that." So that's just a fun little expression that you can use with your friends. It's better to use it with your friends. This one is not particularly for a business context, let's say. It's just not appropriate for business, but it can be okay with close friends that you know very well. So I'm going to marry with you and it'll be a cold day. Okay, well, yes, Emmanuel, I'm sorry because I'm already married to a very lovely French person. But that's a good way of using the expression, definitely. Okay, so that's the little short lesson for today. First of all, I want to thank you for coming here, just because like I said, these live lessons, it's very new for me. I was having some technical difficulties earlier, so I do apologize for that. But thank you. If you're learning something, you have to go outside of your comfort zone. That's definitely what I'm doing now. But it's so that I can bring you some more lessons, some different lessons, and that we can spend a little bit of time together in a live situation, because I think that is so important, but also very fun for me and very interactive, and I hope fun for you as well. Now, just before we finish, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that you get the notifications of the future live lessons. And also, I'll put in the notes below this video the link to the book that will help you to avoid lots of mistakes in English. The book, What the Faute, un livre in English pour éviter 32 erreurs fréquentes en anglais. I'll put the link. You can get the book. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you tomorrow for another live lesson. And it's going to be, tomorrow it's a little different. Tomorrow's lesson will be at 6 p.m. That's Central European Time, Paris time, 6 p.m. For a new live lesson. Be sure to subscribe so you get a notification. And Akram, yes, your movie, I responded in the comments on the previous video, so I'll let you go and read my response there. Okay, everyone, thank you. 6 p.m. definitely. Thank you, Akram, for putting that short lesson, but very helpful. Thank you, Manuel. Don't forget to subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Tell them to come to the live lessons, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good one.